skills and perks in Call of the Wild are super confusing when you first start. Some of them are amazing, and some of them are basically useless. So today I'm going to show you the skills and perks you actually need, and the setup I recommend for every player, beginner or even some of you more skilled players. Before we get into the video, maybe consider subscribing because it really helps out the channel, and comment down below how long you've been playing Call of the Wild for. Whether it be for a long time or maybe even just a couple days. But now, let's hop straight into these skills and perks. In Call of the Wild, as you level up, you earn these things called skill points. Skill points can go towards your skills, and you also earn perk points, which can go towards perks. Now, the perks and skills that you put these points into may basically help you get more trophies in this game, depending on what you choose. And you definitely want to choose the right stuff. Of the first category we're talking about, we're going to talk about skills. There are two different categories in the skills and perks. There are Stalker and Ambusher, each coming with their own different amount of usefulness, and we're going to get straight into talking about what each one does. The first Stalker track that you could possibly unlock, this is the only thing you can unlock when you first start, is Locate Tracks. So for Locate Tracks, it says here, Level 1 is the directional tracking cone becomes more accurate and narrower, both in the world and on the map. Level 2 increases the distance at which tracks are visible and highlighted, and Level 3 combines Level 1 and 2 and makes them both more beneficial. When it comes to Locate Tracks, I would recommend putting 3 points into Locate Tracks. This is one of the things that if you're going to be picking out lots of tracks, which usually you will, is going to be something that you are going to definitely want. When we get into the tier 1 of all of them, it comes with 3 new unlockable skills. First of Track Knowledge, which reveals information about an animal's gender when investigating footprints and vocalizations. Level 2 reveals information about approximate animal group size when investigating need zone tracks and an animal's approximate health when investigating blood trails. Level 3 reveals information about an animal's approximate weight when investigating footprints and fur type when investigating disturbed vegetation. We're going to get into disturbed vegetation very shortly, but for now we're just going to ignore that. Next is I'm only happy when it rains. Level 1 says decreases your visibility in foggy weather, and Level 2 is decreases your visibility in rainy weather. Now, I'm a little bit confused about this still because why would you want something that decreases your visibility? So, I'm only happy when it rains actually makes you think that you can no longer see in foggy or rainy weather, but what it actually does is makes it so animals cannot see you. So when it is foggy and or rainy, an animal looking at you will not be able to see you as well. You'll be able to get closer and stalk up a lot better. And then the third skill that is in the tier 1 of Stalker is Hardened. Exploring the wild has made you survival, which gives you a 15% increase in health. So in terms of all of these tier 1 tracks, I would recommend putting 3 points into Track Knowledge and 2 points into I'm Only Happy When It Rains. These will help you very much. And Hardened, it can be beneficial, but really if you're not going to be taking too much damage, it won't help you too much. Tier 2 in the Stalker category comes with, once again, 3 new skills that you could possibly unlock. The first one is Connect the Dots. It says each time a track is investigated, a trail line is automatically drawn on your hunter mate between tracks of the active trail, which is the animal you're tracking, and trail direction is also indicated with an arrow. Investigated tracks that were not dropped in consecutive order have a dotted line drawn between them to indicate that there are more tracks to be found to complete the trail. The dotted line will not occur if 3 tracks in the order are skipped. The next one is Soft Feet, which reduces the noise generated when moving through foliage such as grass and leaves. Level 2 reduces the noise generated when moving through larger vegetation such as bushes and shrubs. And then you may notice when we come down here to weather prediction, it is actually green, and I will explain why in just a second. But it says, extensive studies in the art of meteorology has unlocked the ability to make accurate predictions about local weather conditions. Level 1 unlocks the ability to approximate when the weather will change and to what state. For example, when it goes from clear to rainy. Level 2 further extends the ability to predict weather changes in the future. So in terms of these 3 skills, I would recommend putting 3 perk points, or 3 skill points into 2 of these skills. First one, you're going to want to put 1 skill point into Connect the Dots and 2 skill points into Soft Feet. And the reason for this is because when you're tracking animals, you're going to want to be extremely quiet. And connect the dots helps you track a lot easier when using your hunter mate. For this third one, weather prediction, it can be useful. I have never found a use for it, and I've been playing for quite a while now, and I've never once purchased the skill. As we come over here to tier 3, you unlock, once again, 3 more potential skills in the Stalker category that you can use. For this first one is Innate Triangulation, which essentially just each level decreases the size of the animal vocalization indicator in the world, making it easier to pinpoint the position of the animal that produced the call. Here next is Improvised Blind, which further decreases your visibility when inside large bushes and shrubs. And then the last one is Endurance. All that walking has to be good for something. Increase your endurance so that your heart rate rises slower when moving and falls faster when idle. And I would actually recommend putting 4 different skill points into every single one of these. So 2 into Innate Triangulation, 1 into Improvised Blind, and 1 into Endurance. And then as you come in here to tier 4, you're going to notice 2 of the green skills, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. And the first one in tier 4 is Disturbed Vegetation, which we mentioned earlier when talking about track knowledge. But what Disturbed Vegetation does is it reveals a new track type, Disturbed Vegetation. Animals sometimes produce these in between other tracks. This makes it easier to follow the trails of difficult animals and reveals the animal's fur type when combined with the track knowledge skill. So essentially what Disturbed Vegetation does is it helps you able to see what fur type. So when you pick it up, it may say albino, it may say brown, it may say gray. It can really say anything. The second skill here in tier 4 of Stalker is Wind Prediction. Level 1 unlocks the ability to detect when the general wind speed is about to increase by observing how it rolls in over the landscape. Ambient wind noise masks your movement noise, allowing you to move more quietly. Level 2 unlocks the ability to approximate the general wind direction and when it will change. And then this final thing is Startle Call, which unlocks the ability to stop animals in their tracks for a short time by making an unexpected noise. Perfect for when you're ready to take your shot. After a short duration, the animal will realize that something is wrong and flee. The more difficult the animal, the faster its realization. So these 2 green perks are basically going to be useless, but I would recommend putting a perk into Disturbed Vegetation, so that way you can see more fur types and track your animals a lot easier. And now we're going to get into what these green perks are. So these green perks are not just regular perks. When you buy a perk, it automatically activates, but for these, when you buy one, you have to activate it, and it's something that's interactive. I will show you that when we get to the perks because I actually use one. But for now, we're going to head into the Ambusher section of these skills. When you come down here into the Ambusher section, this is what you will see if you haven't bought any skill points at first. If you did everything and bought all these exact same skill points, you're going to have 6 skill points left. And this first one here, unlike in the Stalker category, you're not going to put as many into. This one is Scent Tinkerer, and it has 4 different points. It says, not satisfied with the performance of the scent lures in the store, become a true scent alchemist. Level 1 increases the number of uses per canister for all scent lures purchased. Level 2 increases the duration of all scent lures. Level 3 increases the range of all scent lures. And level 4 increases the attraction chance of all scent lures. In my 2 or 3 years of playing this game, I have never once used a scent lure. So because of that, you're going to have to put 1 point in this just to unlock the next stage of perks, so that way you can continue on. And once you purchase that first level, you will move on to tier 2, which is exactly what you want. Did I say tier 2? My bad. You move on to tier 1. So tier 1 unlocks 3 new perks, one of them being Spotting Knowledge. So Spotting Knowledge increases the amount of information that can be gained from the last animal spotted. Level 1 reveals additional information about how aware the animal is of nearby threats. Level 2 reveals information about the approximate health of the animal. And level 3 reveals information about the approximate trophy rating and weight of the animals. Moving on down to Dazed and Confused, this adds a random chance of attracting an animal that is not usually attracted by a particular scent. And now moving on to The More the Merrier, this increases the monetary reward gained from completing any mission by 5%. And when it comes to which ones you want to purchase here, I would recommend putting 3 points into Spotting Knowledge and 1 point into The More the Merrier. This is basically just a throwaway perk. By throwing this skill point into The More the Merrier, it's basically just throwing it away. You don't really need it, but when doing missions it can be beneficial. And by doing all that, you unlock tier 2, which gives you 3 additional skills. The first one is Sight Spotting, which unlocks the ability to spot animals when in aim mode with weapons. This means that you do not have to switch to binoculars or a rangefinder device to spot an animal. Moving on down to Fatal Attraction. This one says anyone can use a collar, but it takes a true artist to do it well. Level 1 increased chance of attracting animals to your location when using collars, and level 2 increases your chance of eliciting a vocalization response from nearby animals when using collars. And finally, moving down to impact resistant, it says, is it a plane, is it a bird? Nope, it's a falling hunter. This reduces the damage from falling, so if you fall from a cliff, you will take less damage. It doesn't exactly say how much damage it reduces. Of these 3 perks, I would recommend putting your final skill point into sight spotting. This is by far the most useful perk that you will have on your loadouts. And then moving on to tier 3, even though none of these perks are officially unlockable anymore, and I do not believe that you kind of need these, I'll just read them off so that way you know what they are and what they do. So tag is increasing the duration of the traced outline on an animal after spotting it, and level 2 unlocks the ability to add a spotting outline on up to 3 animals simultaneously. Whose deer adds a random chance of attracting a species that is not usually attracted by a particular collar, and level 2 adds a random chance of inducing a vocalization response from a species that is not usually affected by a particular collar. Then the final one in tier 3 is Packy Mule. This one increases the base carry capacity by 15%, and this doesn't affect backpacks. Now, the reason that you don't want this perk anymore is because they actually fixed backpacks recently. Backpacks no longer spook animals super far away, and you can actually use backpacks a lot more than we've used to be able to. So Pack Mule basically is useless now. You can obviously still use it, but you don't need it as much. Moving on to tier 4 is Keen Eye. This one unlocks the ability to scout the surrounding area for animals and signs of activity near a lookout point. You must be within 10 meters of the survey map in a lookout point to activate the skill. This action can be repeated but comes with a cooldown timer. So this adds a chance of revealing need zones in a map near the lookout points when surveying, and adds a chance of revealing animal groups on the map near the lookout point when surveying them. Hill Collar increases the attraction range of all collars when used within 10 meters of a lookout point or inside an elevated structure. This includes tree and tripod stands and elevated hunting structures. And the final one is Haggle, which just reduces the cost of all items in the outpost store by 5%. Now we come down here to perks, and there is 4 different categories. Just like with skills, they had the Stalker and the Ambusher, but for perks, they have the rifles, handguns, shotguns, and archery. When starting off here in the rifles category, the first thing you can potentially unlock is muscle memory. So level 1 unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving aim mode for rifles, shotguns, and handguns. And level 2 increased ready speed after firing for all weapons. I would recommend putting 2 perks points into this. When we go up, you come to breath control, which level 1 decreased heart rate penalty from exhaling, which reduces the cooldown until your breath can be held again. Level 2 is increased duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath. And level 3 is decreased aim wobble, and I'd recommend putting 3 points into that. For focused shots, you can run this. I used to, and I recently changed it. It's not because I didn't like the perk, it's because I wanted to put it towards something else that I just figured I would use a lot more than this. But for this one, it's when holding your breath. It increases zoom when using rifles with iron, red dot, and holographic sights. So you actually can put a perk in this. I will let you decide. For right now, I'm not going to. And then we come back out here to zeroing. This is one of those green activatable perks, like I was mentioning earlier. This unlocks the ability to switch between different zero distances, in addition to the default medium range zero on any weapon that supports it. So level 1 unlocks short range zero, and level 2 unlocks long range. I would recommend putting 2 different perk points into this, and coming in here and clicking activate, so that way you can zero your rifle. When you come out here, you finally enter steady hands, which decreases the wobble when in aim mode using any weapon. Each level increases the effect. I would recommend putting 2 skill points into that so your gun isn't moving around as much when trying to shoot your target. And the final thing in the rifles category is windage, which has the ability to gauge lateral wind direction and speed when in aim mode on any weapon. And since we already activated the zeroing perk, there's no reason to put any points into this because it would be useless. Coming down here to handguns, so the first thing is sprint and load. Without having this perk, you have to slow down and reload, but with it, you can actually run and reload. So I would recommend getting it, as it will definitely make it so you waste less time. Coming up here to quick feet, it's recover a steady aim faster when changing stances when using handguns. Each level unlocked increases the effect. And then down here is survival instinct, which is damage from animal attacks is reduced for a short duration after landing a shot on an aggressive animal. I'd recommend putting 1 point into quick feet, so that way you can come down here and put a point into ranger, which just increases accuracy when gauging distance of spotted animals. And then you come up here to lightning hands, which decreases reload time of all weapons. Each level unlocked increases the effect. This was the points. Before I had 2 points in Lightning Hands and 1 point in Focus Shot, but I took that out and purchased a point in Lightning Hands just because I wanted to have slightly faster reload times. You obviously do not have to do this at all. Coming down here into shotguns, you unlock several perks that you are definitely going to want. One of the first ones is Both Eyes Open, which decreases edge blur when using shotguns with iron, red dot, and holographic sights. Each level unlocked increases the effect. You're just going to put 1 point into this just so you can unlock the next stages. And then moving up here to Fast Shouldering, you're going to want to put 2 points into that. What that does is increase the speed of entering and exiting aim mode when using any weapon, as well as the speed of switching weapons. These next 2 perks are once again those activatable perks that you cannot use because you're using zeroing, but this one just is tracer shots when using shotguns, and this one is just firing both chambers at the same time when using double-barreled shotguns. And then coming down here to body control is weapon aligns slightly faster when rotating with any weapon. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Going to want to put 1 point into that, and then when I come over here to recoil management, it says less recoil when firing any weapon and ability to fire a follow-up shot sooner. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Put 3 points into that, and that should be all of your perk points, but there is still one category, and that is archery. Those are the skills and perks I recommend for pretty much every player in the Hunter Call of the Wild. If you use a different setup, let me know what you run down in the comments. I'd love to see what everyone else uses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace!